So the word problems that we're going to solve today, 2 equations, 2 variables, most of them. And some you may be able to solve without writing equations, but that's not how we're going to do it. Because we're on writing equations, 2 variables, 2 unknowns, 2 equations. Go over there. We're going to solve them using systems of equations. Shh. And part of the problem is that you want to read the whole thing and you expect that you should write an equation right away and then solve it. That's not how you solve a word problem. You solve a word problem by reading it over, looking at it, and then going back and taking a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and then putting it together. So the example on 131, to use a certain computer database, the charge is $30 an hour during the day and $10.50 at night. A research company paid $411 for 28 hours of use. Find the number of daytime and nighttime hours. What does it say there? The charge is $30 per hour during the day. That's what I would write down. The charge is $30 per hour for the daytime. What else does it say? The charge is $10.50 per hour for what? For the night. What else does it say? The research company paid a total of $411 for 28 hours of use. And what are we supposed to find? Knock it off.
Number of hours charged.
Number of what hours?
Day and night.
Day and night. How many day hours? Shh. How many day hours and how many night hours? That's what we're supposed to find. So what 2 quantities are we talking about again? What 2 different things am I talking about in this problem? Day hours and night hours. I like to let day hours be D and night hours be N for obvious reasons, I hope. So we need to set up 2 equations using the stuff here so that we can find how many day, how many night hours. Remember using those boxes to solve the problems?
No.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
You use the boxes.
you may or may not have used them, you may or may not remember them, you may or may not like them, I don't care. I like to use not boxes, I like to use equations. And my equations in a lot of cases can be put into 2 different categories. One equation tells you about how many of them you have, and the other one tells you about the value or what they're worth. And you can use this not just on, but some of the problems you're going to do later. How many jeans and shirts were sold? How many pieces of pizza and burgers were sold? How many couples and singles went to the dance? You can use it for a lot of different things, a lot of different problems. So the first equation has to do with how many. In here, do I have how many hours, how many day and night hours? Well, sort of that's what I'm supposed to find. I'm supposed to find, but maybe I should tell you right now, I'm not helping you set these up later. So if you want to know how, this is your opportunity. Do I have anything here that tells me anything about how many or the total number of hours? What? Say it.
28 hours of use.
28 hours of use. What is that? 28, is that daytime or nighttime? It's both, right? So somebody needs to write me an equation that says I have 28 hours of day and night use. What do you say?
D plus N equals 48.
What were you gonna say?
Say that.
What were you gonna say?
D. Yeah.
What they all said?
Yeah.
D plus N. That tells me something about how many hours. I don't know how many of each, but I know that day and night together have to be 28. What else? Something about the value. What is it worth? Well, I've got a few bits of information. This, that tell me something about what it's worth. How am I going to write an equation from that with day and night, David?
30D plus 1050N equals 411.
Is he right?
Yes, hopefully.
That's what he said. And what he just found was, for instance, this tells me how much was spent on daytime hour use, right? So if, for instance, I had 3 hours of daytime, 3 times 30 is 90, and so on. So right here, this is the hardest part. Those are my 2 equations. Now you have to solve those. And I don't care what method, but it has to be one of the methods we learned in here. It can't just be yes and check. I would not recommend graphing, however. Anybody wants graph paper, I can give you some, but I don't recommend it. I would use either substitution or the addition subtraction. And this one, if you minus n, it works out perfectly for substitution. I'll take that and plug it in right there. Agree?
Mm-hmm.
So I have 30D, but what is D?
28 minus N.
Like that. So there's my 30D plus 1050N, like that.
Genius.
And then you can work it out, I hope. This, 0, 2, 4, carry the 2, 6, 7, 8. 840 minus 30N plus 10.50N.
Why is it?
Why is it what?
Wait, never mind.
I distributed,
Yeah, no, I got that.
okay? Now I have like terms right there. Negative 30 plus 10, I think that's negative 19.5.
Yeah.
Next, I have all the letter together. I have to get rid of what's with it.
Nice.
Negative 19.50N. This, negative 429. Divide by negative 19.50. What do you get?
22.
N equals 22. What is that again?
22.
What does N represent? Nighttime what? So I probably should say 22 hours. Am I done?
No.
Why
No.
not?
Got plugged in.
Because it wants to know not only how many nighttime, but also how many daytime. How am I going to find the daytime?
Plug it in.
Where?
Equation.
28 take away N. 28 take away 22. 6. 6 hours. Right? And if you wanted to double check, you could come over here. A daytime hour is worth $30, and I had 6 of them. So 6 hours times $30. Yes? And then a nighttime hour is worth $10.50, and I had 22. 22 nighttime hours times 10.50. 220,
231.
That's good money for the night.
and 11 more is 231. And if I add it up, 1, does it come out to?
Digger's Hotline?
So I know I did it right. going to give you an assignment. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Does anyone have a question?
You should say text me.
You can shut it off now.